Good to see you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to amberNetworkFestival today's panel program. I'm Ali Cem Doğan from Darağaç Collective, Izmir, Turkey. I'm a filmmaker and a photographer. Let me give you a brief introduction about the amberNetworkFestival. The 2021 amberNetworkFestival will take place between the 10th of March and 18th of May at Oyoun in Berlin. And in the network notes, amberPlatform from Istanbul, New Media Society from Tehran, BAAB project from Shiraz, KounAktif from Casablanca, BAAB from Khartoum, Shahraban from Baalbek, Bishkek Contemporary from Bishkek, ADEF from Berlin, and Darağaç from Izmir. What is Darağaç? Darağaç is a non-profit art collective located in Izmir's Umur Bey neighborhood, and an open space where new communication strategies are experienced. Umur Bey neighborhood, formerly known as Darağaç, which is the name is coming from, is located between Alsancak Stadium, which is in the center of Izmir, and Halkapınar, used as an industrial zone in the past. But today, Darağaç neighborhood hosts artists, artisans, workshops, and the residents. The name of the group of exhibitions that have developed and matured with an atmosphere of intense dialogue and discussions between artists, artisans, and the residents of the neighborhood. The main goal of Darağaç is to transform the neighborhood into a space where young artists can show their work and to create a common discourse. Darağaç, due to the lack of venues in Izmir, acts as some sort of reconciliation zone for the emerging artists in the public space. Darağaç has not imposed any subject or material limitations for the artists in the exhibitions. It has organized in the events and participated in. Darağaç encourages the artists to try new methods in the public sphere. Interdisciplinary works are exhibited or hosted in Darağaç in areas such as painting, photography, sculpture, installation, video, and performance. At the same time, this is, let's say, the utopia of Darağaç, is to transform the whole neighborhood into some sort of a kind of an experimental city institute. Today, with Güzden Varınlıoğlu and Emre Yıldız, we are going to talk about engagement with the neighborhood through art and design. This vague title consists of many topics such as gentrification and how Darağaç collective buffers or enhances this gentrification process, and in what ways. Welcome, Güzden and Emre.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, Ali Cem. Hello, Emre.
Hello. Hello all.
Which one would you like to start, Güzden?
I can. You want me to introduce myself first, then I go on. Then I leave the words to Emre, the virtual stage to Emre. Then I will do my presentation. So I'm Güzden Varınlıoğlu. I'm currently at Izmir University of Economics at the Department of Architecture. My interest is in digital heritage, computational tools in various heritage fields, and I will present the rest how I happened to meet Darağaç later. But since 2018, we've been working together in several projects with Darağaç Art Collective. And Emre?
Thanks. I'm Emre Yıldız. I'm a graphic designer and academic too. I teach at the Yaşar University, Faculty of Art and Design, and I mainly focus on typography and a little bit of graphic design history as well. And I'm highly interested on tracing this kind of design historian related artifacts or typographic heritage visibilities within the city, within the public space. That's all for now, let's say.
Yeah, actually, we have many things to discuss. But when we talked about this meeting actually before, the three of us, we had to focus on something, and our let's say the popular topic, the gentrification of the neighborhood, either it's coming from the artists or it's coming from the surroundings of the neighborhood. So it is, the title is engagement with the neighborhood through art and design. But actually, the future of the neighborhood and what's happening in here is also some sort of part of. It's also related with art and design, because it somehow affects the artists who are living in the city, because seeing buildings around the neighborhood is actually, sometimes we define this phenomenon, let's say, as an approaching threat, you know. Or our neighborhood, we're going to have like skyscrapers in the future. We don't know that yet. But today, Güzden, we're going to talk about the gentrification of the neighborhood also. We are curious to hear what she's going to say. And after that, Emre, we're going to have a presentation. And if we have time, we can have some questions and we can discuss about this two presentations. And I would like to give the mic to Güzden now.
Thanks, Alicem. I share the screen. Yeah, it's working. Okay. So I will start by describing actually the art scene and how the art scene is now affecting the other cities, including Izmir. So the case that we are living in. So we see that we are witnessing a period where art galleries, artworks are not in art galleries, museums, but they are more moved into spaces of daily life. So we see that the art collectives are now living, settling, producing in the low-income groups in several cities. And at the same time, the streets are becoming art spaces. So that's why I just named the title as Darağaç Collective as an alternative art space. Sorry. So my first encounter with Darağaç was almost accidental. It was like an evening out in Alsancak together with my friends, where we initiated this study, Burkay and Kıvanç. And then we were in an at the Chamber of Architects, quite tired from some talks, and we happened to run into this exhibition quite randomly. And since then, we are working with Darağaç and on Darağaç, and also for Darağaç as well, because we realized that the first exhibition that we happened to be part of, but that was their third exhibition in 2018, like the artworks and exhibitions were on the streets, the houses in the shops open to the public. All the neighborhood was turned into a huge art gallery where the neighbors and neighborhood is turned an artwork. They were actually part of the art production over there. Of course, I mean, inevitably I refer to Hall Foster, where he refers actually like quite now it's a bit like old, because we are turning into another era where we are having like this digital, inevident, digital revolution. But here we know that in the history, we happen to see the artworks happening and using the architectural space, whereas the architects are building some more art-like or visual art-like buildings. And within this perspective, whenever we see and we just like wander around, especially in Europe, we see several examples. For example, the first one from Aveiro, the artist Wills, where he turned this like the wall into an artwork, but not by painting it, but rather exploding the layers of the wall. Or the second one, the artist not known, but the district, the art district, Bombarda is turned into, the streets of it is turned into an artwork. Bordalo 2, again, another example from Porto, in the streets of Porto. Belle du Gabou, another one from France, and another very interesting one from Nantes. We happen to discuss this with Darağaç people. The whole city and the artworks are all scattered around the city, and they're all connected through a map, through an app as well, and through a green line. So if you are living in the city or you are just visiting the city, you don't understand what this green line is about, but actually it's connecting all the street arts all together. So do we have such examples in Turkey? Actually, we do, not from Izmir. That's why, Izmir and Darağaç in Izmir is quite unique. These are some examples from Istanbul. We can compare, of course, but we cannot say that it's the same setup. Yel Değirmeni in Kadıköy in Istanbul. They had a mural festival, Istanbul Festival over there. And the second one is 9. Sokak, the 19th Street in Istanbul, again in Sanayi area over there. And we see that through these cities, through these examples, we happen to understand that what's happening in Izmir. But Izmir case is slightly different. These are like the maps that we prepared 2 years ago. If I'm missing any art initiatives in Izmir, I mean, these are like the ones that were mostly known in 2018. So we know that the art initiatives, usually they settle down in poorer areas, or sometimes they just like start their art initiatives in their living room or in their neighborhood without really being dependent on the galleries or museums. And as Ali Cem mentioned, in Izmir, there is no independent art museum or contemporary art museum. So the art initiatives, the collectives happen to replace and or provide this role for the city. So this is like a little cartoon that explains most of the things that I wanted to cover for today about gentrification. We know that some abandoned industrial districts of an area, in this case in Izmir, they are mostly, invaded by art, not invaded actually, inhabited by artists or by students, and sometimes like in Yel Değirmeni case, Erasmus students actually. Then all of a sudden these places happen to be quite popular, and it starts being the creativity hub for the city. And when the land happened to be more expensive, of course these old buildings are turned into more bohemia apartments or whatever you name it. But in this case in Izmir, actually Darağaç, where you see here on, I think you can see my cursor, in between, and surrounded by all these residence buildings that I just like show by in blue, they are under the threat of these big residence areas. So I don't know, if you live in Izmir, on the streets you will be seeing all the, good advertisement by Mahal Bomonti, Folk Art, Evora, Olsancak, and other things. But at the same time, this area where Darağaç collective is part of is the old factory part of the town. Very, we know more Hava Gazı Fabrikası, natural gas factory. We happen to remember Elektrik Fabrikası, the electric power plant that the Chamber of Architects, started a competition last year. And Şark Sanayi is still a very important and beautiful building, and you see the dates. And Sümerbank, cotton, print, textile industry again, and some other factory buildings happen to be in and around the Darağaç neighborhood. Of course, we can say the opposite, actually, how Darağaç people happen to know this Darağaç area. First of all, you see some artworks over there, but I want to tell their stories. Some, the initiatives happen to be in 2014, if I'm not wrong. Then they picked, the artists, the new graduates, they decided to have and choose a low income, quite like according to their budget, some areas in Izmir. And they discovered, if I'm not wrong, Ali Cem, please correct me, you were involved, Cenkan, Ayşegül were involved, and Ali Kanal happened to be part of you later on. And now we are talking about like a bigger perspective, bigger, artist collective, of course. And they started renting out these apartments. The reason was budget at first, but also it's not possible to, to realize how impressive the streets are, because that's an area where the artisans live, means car mechanics, some, I don't know, some car painters, some other motorcycle repair shops, a lot of things that we call in Turkish sanayi area. So that's where the artists and artisans can produce together. And the first one actually was ours. We were part of it. We just created an AR work, but you see that the limit of their artworks is, or we can say that they have no limit in terms of using the space. The second one is actually the third one. The one is an interior, so it's another performance work. That's from, if I'm not wrong, 2018. Then the famous Ikram by Ali Kanan from 2017, that you see that the car in the street. And Güneş is using, Güneş Topalöz, and the artwork's name is Güneş, is using the facade of a building. Or very popular from 2019, a Volta exhibition. They started transforming the walls of Darağaç. And after that, we witnessed that Darağaç happened to be more visible, because except from that semi-permanent exhibitions that happened like some years ago, after these graffitis from all the listed names, they started, the facade of the streets happened to be quite different. Then, of course, I will just leave with I will leave these questions to Emre. Of course, is that's kind of a big dilemma or vicious circle that we are talking about, because the artists happen to, inhabit that area of the town, but all of a sudden they become more popular. The more they become popular, all of a sudden the rents and everything happen to be more expensive. Now Belediye, the municipality, and all other interested parties happen to be quite interested being part of Darağaç. And so in short, of course, we will hear from Ali Cem, is that this creative hub is inevitably being a creative hub is inevitably becoming a tool for this urban renewal or gentrification in that area. Is it something that Darağaç people like? We don't know. We will discuss that. These are the questions to be discussed later. As architect, as an academician, also we took our role in this urban renewal. Actually, I can say I'm teaching second year, and all the names that you see on the right hand side, they are my colleagues, or they were in the last 3 years. Of course, they were part of this Darağaç fund. The first exhibition was in 2019, and we just gave, I will explain a little bit later, we gave a land in Darağaç, and we told our students that they should design something, a corner and a habitation for to artists in Darağaç. So before that, it was a fictive project, but at that year, we just they met with artists in Darağaç, and they just interacted with them, and they designed a house versus studio and artist in residence for two artists from Darağaç. And we exhibited in the area. It was quite a cold outdoor exhibition, but I think we survived well. And then we continued the same project the second year, 2020, and this year as well, 2021. But unfortunately, this virtual exhibition doesn't have a poster. But since 3 years, we've been working in this little corner site that I put in the left-hand side, upper hand side, and you see some examples from our students. However, again, as a studio instructor, I can say that the hardest part to tell to our students is that whatever we are building there needs to belong to Darağaç. So if we are giving our students, you know, and like such a distinct urban context, and then we happen to find quite nice, clear housing for Darağaç, then it was quite a contradictory thing for us. We mentioned over and over again that, you know, any ideas are welcome. By the way, these are the architectural qualities, very good, but are these really belonging to Darağaç? It's again open to discussion. Last but not the least is that part of the amberNetworkFestival, you know that through the hackathons and other talks, we will be seeing, you know, we will be using Darağaç streets as a canvas with the, I think, almost 20 applicants from all over the world. We will be working and we will be virtually touring through this link in the streets of Darağaç. And also, if you want to hear more about our other digital stories, because we are working on some other augmented reality, virtual reality project together with Darağaç. Actually, our talk is on 5th of April, Monday, Central European time. Let's see what time will be in Turkey. Anyway, it's confusing, these time changes these days. And if you want to read more together with my, you know, academic partners, Burkay and Kıvanç, we did publish some, and we will be publishing a little bit more about these works. So I hope I was on time, Cenkan. That's all from me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but I will leave the questions on the screen for a minute so that Emre can answer.
Emre, would you like to answer, or can I say something about it? Okay.
Please proceed.
Okay.
Buy me some time.
Yeah. Especially the last question. I would say disappearance of the locals from the neighborhood. Because why disappearance of the locals? Because we have to go back to like 6 years ago. What happened 6 years ago? I mean, as Güzden said, the artists started to move to the neighborhood because of practically cheap rents. It was really cheap. Like compared to the rest of the city, it was almost like half. Of course, the buildings were not in a great condition. They need some renovation, and some of them were small and things like that, but it was cheap. It was something. So the artists started to move, and the friends of the artists, this small Izmir community artists, because we all know each other somehow, because the city, the art scene of Izmir is relatively small. People were started coming and going to the neighborhood, but I remember our main concern was being able to live in a neighborhood and work and produce and experience some solidarity among each other, because we've been seeing each other almost every day, but living in the same neighborhood, that would be a plus. But after a while, we started to engage with the neighborhood through dialogue. Like we met with our neighbors, we met with many people in the neighborhood, the locals, and I remember quite clearly the first proposal of exhibition came from a local, and he said, "Okay, you keep complaining about the art business and how to survive as an artist in a country like Turkey, and you're complaining about you cannot find a space for your art exhibit. So why you don't use the street?" This was the first question. Okay, we said, okay, we can do that, but how? We were hesitant in the beginning because, okay, we can put the artworks to the street, but what will be the narrative here? How we can create a narrative? And we didn't take any risk. We just did what the locals do every day. They put their tables on the streets. After 6, they open up a beer and they talk. They talk about everything. They yell, all these things. We use the similar approach, I would say. We just put the artwork in front of a store or on a store. And we were hesitant in the beginning because we didn't have the courage to enter the abandoned buildings of the neighborhood or inside the stores and places like that. But because of the locals, because of the dialogue between the locals and the artists, throughout the years, we were more, let's say, courageous, because we were able to enter. They invited us to their homes to show these spaces as an exhibition space. So this was our biggest advantage, the dialogue with the locals. Now the question, the disappearance of the locals, that would be something horrible for us, for example, I mean the artists, because this combination, artists, artisans, and the locals living in the neighborhood, seems like, for us, it seems like it's a perfect combination, because when you have locals, you have the history of the neighborhood also. When you have artisans, you have the local economy there. And when you have artists, you have this some sort of a medium that can that can create some sort of bridge between these two artisans and the locals. So this would be something that we wouldn't prefer. We would like to keep the members of the community as it is. Locals are living together, and the locals, artists and artisans living together in the same place. But I don't know, we don't know actually how it will gonna end up, but we are trying to, we are eager to keep this solidarity intact. And I don't know, I talk too much, so I'm going to throw the ball to Emre right now.
The drawing you showed us, Güzden, like concerning Darağaç, if you ask me, we are on the transition from the second frame to the third, if you ask me. And like you said, we will see how this transition will proceed. We are transitioning from the old industry studios, where the artists and the local people are living together, to a creative hub, which has some sort of a funding. Actually, Darağaç is getting there slowly. But, well, I'm asking the same questions to myself as well. Not every day, of course, but like when we think about Darağaç, when we talk about Darağaç, when we work and design and get in contact with our friends, like Ali Cem and many others, well, I think I ask the same questions too, and I think the question, the answer might be resting on the communication of the artists and the local people, and how people live there, how they produce the art, and how it can be transferred to the other sections of the city. Like if the artists are making their works somehow still connected with the locals and somehow still connected with the city too, then I believe the developers and the other actors, urban actors of the city, might much more be involved to the process. The involvement lies in the communication, I guess. Can you switch back to the questions? I was cheating from the third one. Oh no, on the second one. Well, concerning my case, which I want to present to you in shortly, and also my personal experience, because I also I am a founder of an artistic initiative in Izmir, which you showed in the map, Nomad Mind. And so I also consider myself trying to move things within the perspective of Izmir, concerning cultural projects, artistic projects, and also design-related understandings, educational and practices. And also I know Ali Cem quite a while, and I remember the first time he told me, oh, you know, there's this neighborhood, some of our friends are moved there, and we might rent a workshop there as well. That was like in 2018 or 17, I'm not sure. I remember that day, actually, you told me you wanted to move there. You were thinking. And then afterwards, I met Cenkan. And so since then, as the Darağaç grow, we've been somehow connected with it. I've brought my students there to make exhibitions there too, and somehow to see the exhibitions, to talk about how the art can also exist without walls, without galleries, in the streets, in connection with the local people and also craftsmen living in this area, like in Darağaç. So it's somehow integrated in our lives. Although I'm not living there, I'm living in another part of the city, but it is quite integrated in our lives and in our daily practices. Sorry, there was a call. In professional life, in academic life, and also a graphic designer. So I will try to present. Okay. Let's see. You see? Is it there? Because I won't be able to see you now.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So so like I said, the involvement with Darağaç is quite extensive concerning in my practices within the academy and also without, as with the practice of Nomad Mind. Therefore, we have a lot of dialogue between Ali Cem, Cenkan, Ali Kanal, and the others within the Darağaç. So that was 2019 when Ali Kanal and Cenkan invited me to make a workshop in Darağaç because they knew I was working on signboards, typography on streets, and typography on public space, and these kind of applications. So they told me that there was a demand from the craftsmen, from the shop owners in Darağaç, because like you said, Güzden, there are people living there, and there are also a lot of workshops like car mechanics and other repair shops within the district, and the artists are highly integrated with them. They have huge communication, they have huge dialogue with them. They work together, they exchange materials, they use the workshops together sometimes if necessary. And like Ali Cem said, they make exhibitions together and use the spaces as exhibition spaces too. So some of the shop owners ask Ali Kanal and Cenkan, I need a new sign. You're an artist. You can make me a new sign, right? I need a new signboard. This one's too old. I don't have any, etc., etc. So they told, well, this is something that has to be done because there is a demand, but we are not the experts for it, and maybe we can turn it into a workshop where we can invite people from different disciplines, art and design disciplines, and make a collaboration in order to answer this demand. So we talk together, we sit together, and we try to assess the situation, if it was dangerous in terms of gentrification. Because if you make something in public space, in a highly sensible area like Darağaç, then it definitely has an effect. And if it's adding value to the aesthetics of the public space, then it definitely has something to do with the gentrification. Therefore, we had to be very careful, or we had to think twice about it, what we are doing, and we have to make good assessments. But in order to understand what we are doing, and in order to explain to you how I approach this situation as a graphic designer, because although I'm somehow related with artists and artistic practices, I'm essentially graphic designer. So I want to give you another example of this kind of holistic approach, or like a multiple approach on making signboards within the public space. So I will give you an example in another part of the town, in the Hotels Street town in Izmir. Hotel Street in Izmir. It's in the town center, and it's in the historical town center actually. So there was this street. There's the street, and a lot of hotels are there, as you can understand from the name. And from the KounAktif municipality has made a renewal project there in 1999. So the project was not only signboards, of course, all the renewing of the facades, painting the buildings, and making the streets better, pedestrian walks, and etc. But within the project, they made also something extraordinary, which not every municipality is doing. They made new signboards for the hotels in order to achieve aesthetic base when you walk down the street. So they also make this with participatory decision-making process. So they invited the hotel owners and also the chamber of the hotels in Izmir to talk about which kind of design they need, what they need, and etc. Not only for the signboards, of course, for the whole process. But for me, it is important and it's exciting as well, because when I walk down the street, I see well-designed signboards for the hotels, but I see also different things which I wanted to share with you. So the whole street is, I can show you this one first maybe. The whole street is all hotels have same signboards from the same painter, from the same sign painter, from the same design quality, which gives us a base, but which might be a little problem within the lack of variety, because in order to achieve a healthy competition in between the hotels, and in order to know the characteristics you are going to, if you are going to the hotel, in order to have a sense of orientation, there need to be different aspects in the design process. So all the signboards look well executed, good typography somehow, but they all look the same. So it's really difficult to differentiate the hotels from each other. Well, we are seeing a added high value right now. They are still there. These photos are up to date that I'm showing you right now, actually. The signboards are still there. But if we look at some of the facades, we see double boards. So there is one which is implemented, which is hanged by the municipality, still there. And we see another signboard which is maybe left before the renewal project, or made afterwards again. So we see some duality there, which is somehow distorting the communication we are experiencing with the facade. And also we can question the possibility if we can enhance the dialogue between the municipality and the hotel owners during the design process. We are not sure if the designs were showed to them, if they wanted to have these kind of signboards or not, and if the sign painter were in contact with the hotel owners or not. So we don't know that too. So this is actually a well-made, well-executed project within the public space and done by the municipality actually, which is also important, not a private advertisement or signboard maker, or not a personal demand. Well, it was done in order to enhance and the aesthetic hinterland of the public space of the street. So if we look at this project and if we look at the example, and when we think about all the aspects from the Darağaç, what was done and how can we frame that? So first of all, there was some signboards in the streets, and like I said, we were invited by the Darağaç Artist Initiative, and there was a demand from the shop owners as well. So they wanted to have new signboards, which was important. So this level of communication was always there. The dialogue was always there. So the demand was there. So we had constant dialogue with them. So what we want to have, like I said, with the interdisciplinary approach, so I invited 5 graphic designers, which were still students, some of mine, some of from the Kocaeli University Graphic Design Department, and we invited 5 artists from the fresh graduates from Dokuz Eylül Fine Arts, Faculty of Fine Arts, and we have 5 shop owners who wanted to have new signboards. So there was a dent repair, a car mech, a chemistry, meatballs, köfte maker, Fethi Baba, and also Fethi Market of Bakkal, Fethi Market of Darağaç. So why these graphic designers and artists? Why these collaborations? So from the graphic designers, I was hoping to have the tools for communication and basic understanding of advertisement, how a signboard should speak, and to the people who need to see the signboard. From the artists, with the additional support of the artists and the collaboration of the artists, I was hoping to achieve the technical production and material process. So their experience with the materials and their experience, how to work with it, how to alter it. You will see which kind of materials we will use right now. Was very crucial to the project, and with the 5 shop owners involved with them, as they were involved within the project and constant contact and dialogue, like I said, they could have get direct brief from the signboards and instant feedback during the whole production process. So as the start of the workshop days, I invited a senior signboard painter, and he gave us a lecture and some introduction about the application with the brushes for the signboards. It was very nice experience transfer from the young artists and designers, from the senior sign painters to the young artists and designers. They also have this understanding of how to make everything with hand, because we wanted to have everything with hands and everything with crafts, nothing digital actually. Of course, the design process could have been done digitally, but the application process should have been done by hand. We don't want to go to a sign maker and give the design and ask them to make this for us, plus the budget. So because we were invited by Ali Kanal and Benkan Aksoy to Darağaç to make this project, we were also in Ali Kanal's workshop. So we were full-time, a week long, in the workshop in the neighborhood. That gave us very important spatial experience, because we didn't leave the area. We didn't go to our workshops or somewhere else to make the signboards. We produced and executed everything within the neighborhood which was also very important to create a belonging and also not have a distorted experience of design process. During this week, whole week long, we had in the middle of the week a presentation from the applicants, from the artists and designers who were making the signboards. There were 5 groups, of course, 1 designer, 1 artist, and each group made some sketches about how the signboard should look. And we invited academicians, designers, and practitioners, and also artists from the neighborhood, from the artist initiative, from the Darağaç initiative, and of course the shop owners. And so they made a presentation. They had some critique, and not only from the shop owners, of course, from the teachers and academics and practical graphic designers as well. So this was also very important to have, not to make and design everything on your own, to work within a shell. It was very fruitful for them. For the production, this is where the hands get dirty. We use any kind of material. They were completely free, but of course the material should resist the erosion of the weather, and it should be able to stand for a long time outdoors. So they used wood, but they protected it, and they tried to choose material according to their design and according to their shop owner. So, for instance, for the dent repair shop, they use this trunk hood, which was discarded as trash, as scrap material. And also for the car mechanic, they use this radiator as the carrier of the sign. There was a lot of recycling for material, what we can find within the shops or within the neighborhood. Also, some new material was bought as well. On the left side, you can see one of our artist friends. I think he was a sculptor working with a metal plate. The thing was, they also try to use the infrastructure which is already at hand. There was some boxes attached which were carrying the sign plates, so they just renew them. They didn't have to do everything from scratch. And during the sign painting process, the introductory lecture was very helpful for them. How they should use the brush and etc. So the graphic design students had some experience with typography, which font to use, and so on. And with the help of the artists, with the paint, how to mix paint with thinners, and how to execute it on the surface, which I'm not a expert as well. I do some brush paint job sometimes, but I'm not an expert too. So there was a very well experience transfer within the groups too. And at the installation days, so we get help from the shop owners again, of course. And I'm sorry. Yes. And also Cenk is visible throughout all this process. I think he installed two of the signboards he installed almost by himself. He helped us quite a lot. So we help from the artists, we help from the sign owners, we got help from the other groups which designed the signboards too. There was a huge installation day. And in the exhibition day of the annual Darağaç exhibition, what was the concept? Do you remember, Alican? I mean, it was in end of September, I guess.
Yeah. It was the annual September exhibition. It was the last. It should be the last Friday of September.
Yeah. So the signboards were hanged before that day. So we saw some photos here with the shop owners and also a group photo from us. So there are still there actually, the signboards, and they are still in use as far as I know. These photos are not so old as well. Maybe 8 months. I'm not sure. Last summer, 6 months, maybe 8 months.
They are in good condition. They are taking care. They are taking care of them.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it because they are durable. They don't fall apart. They don't fade with rain and sun. On the right corner, our senior sign maker came after the exhibition as well to see if they were safe to leave it that way, if they are attached safely, if they were durable, if they will last, so on. So we had at the end a professional eye again to check all of the signboards. So what have we done? So we, if you ask me, we try to keep this dialogue, which was already established between the shop owners, between the craftsmen and the artists. We try to keep that dialogue, and we try to expand it with the new graduate artists and also to be graphic designers, let's say graphic design students. We try to expand this dialogue in between to them as well. By doing it, I believe we somehow infected these newcomers with the love of Darağaç, if I may say, or the interest, let's say. So we infected them with the knowledge that Darağaç exists. This kind of existence is within the city in terms of artistic production, in terms of design-related productions. So as we invited these new artists and designers to this workshop, we created a bridge which will somehow infect these notions and expand the possibility of non-gentrification of Darağaç, I hope. So if we go back to these previous questions, I believe the answer lies in this kind of infections. Like you were somehow involved in Darağaç, Alican, as you rented a workshop there to exist as an artist. Somehow you get infected too, and you became part of this whole community. And if we just invite new artists, new designers, and new urban actors to the neighborhood, of course the neighborhood will change with them, but the neighborhood will change them too. And if we try to somehow bridge this communication, then it won't be just superficial, I hope. These kind of possibilities to create something together, to leave something behind, which is still in the neighborhood, which still rests there, creates a belonging and value. So within this value, it's possible to stay against this vicious cycle of gentrification, I hope, which I am not sure at all, but I hope. Plus these things we made, also this experience transformation of artists and designers is very important, if you ask me. All these craftsmen, living craftspeople, all these shop owners working and living in Darağaç are basically designers themselves, because arts and crafts and design somehow always in the same spectrum, if you ask me, because working with hands, trying to find solutions somehow works the same parts of the brain. So these kind of interdisciplinary possibilities is always a win, if you ask me. So what will be done? We wanted to have another second phase of this workshop, actually, because Cenkan told me there are other shop owners, they wanted to have their signboards renewed too. So we were hoping to make that again with different participants, with different artists and designers. We'll see. We couldn't make it this fall because of the COVID restrictions and because of all of the risks, of course. But we'll see. We'll see how things will reveal concerning Darağaç. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've been having some beers with some people in the neighborhood.
We have to. We should.
Yeah. And some people working in the shops, they said, "What you're going to do? You're going to change this sign too?" Like they asked this question actually.
Okay.
So we said, okay, we can think about it. And then we called you actually. What do you think, Emre? I mean, there is a demand here. That demand that you mentioned is still going on, but it's a little bit different this time. How different? It's something like this. I mean, I will try to remember the whole dialogue, but it was something like this. I asked, "What do you want as a sign?" Like, okay, you want a sign, but what do you want? Like, what kind of color? And I just wanted to, have some insights about it. And he said, "Why you're asking me? You are the artist. Like, I'm giving you the space, and you're going to do this." I mean, meaning
Right.
artist in the neighborhood. Thank you for your presentation, Emre. It was really nice.
Thank you.
And this infection, actually, there is something infectious in this neighborhood. We think maybe because now in the neighborhood, almost 15 artists living in the neighborhood today. Some of them are living like 24/7, always here, but some of them are using these spaces as workshops. And these days it's actually hard to find a workshop for artists, but I don't know. This is also related with gentrification as well. I will try to, because we have a limited time, I will try to summarize what happened here. And about the gentrification, I would like to say one more thing. The owners of these lots, these buildings in the neighborhood, some of them, they have big expectations. Expectations such as, maybe we will have a skyscraper here and they will give me some, like, couple of houses. And the market, the housing market, of course, emlakçı, like the rental agencies, they're intentionally keeping the price high as possible they can, and pointing the skyscrapers, rising above the horizon. So this is something this is not only about Turkey. I mean, you can see this kind of approach in everywhere. And in our first meeting about this meeting, I remember we talked about having the neighborhood as some sort of a buffer zone for gentrification. Maybe this gentrification that is happening in the neighborhood right now, maybe we can use this tide as some sort of a buffer, and maybe we will have the locals of this neighborhood, I'm including the artists as well, we will have some words to say about the future of this neighborhood. That this is what we want, actually. This is what the artists want in this neighborhood, and the business owners and the locals as well. And as Darağaç Collective, we are trying to keep solidarity intact, and as possible we can. So we are coming to an end to our panel. If you have any questions from our audience, we can hear them now, or do we have anything more to say? Because I know that we have many things to talk. Okay. I have an example. I mean, I remember this now. This is about one signboard that you and your students made in the workshop. I was talking with Hussein, one of the Ustas masters here. He was talking about his experience. his experience, his communication with the participant of the workshops. He was explaining this moment like this. He said that they were really excited and they were running in the store, they were trying to find some things, things, and they were asking everything like, what is this? What is this? What is that? Can we and they picked up, if I'm not mistaken, it was a radiator. They pick up this radiator that is kind of a brand new, and it's expensive also. And they asked, hey, what is this? And Hussein said, that's a radiator. Can we use this? He said, okay, you can use it. And they were so eager to make this sign that I couldn't resist. I couldn't say no. Okay, that's a brand new radiator, but take it. That's yours. So this kind of summarizes the whole dialogue between the locals and the artists, I believe. So this is what we are trying to keep this alive. And thank you for your participation. It was really nice to talk. And I hope our audience had some insights about the collective as well. In the following days, we will have some more events, and I would like to give you some dates to our audience. Let's see. In 26th of March, we will have a conversation about the collective's role in Izmir with Tom, Ali Kemal, and Hande from Maki Project. And in the 2nd of April, we will have a live streaming event from the neighborhood. This is going to be an opening event of a project that we started last year called Sounds of Darağaç. Our audience will be able to see the whole neighborhood, and we will try to reflect the actualities and the rhythm of the neighborhood as possible we can. And in the 3rd of April, we will have another panel called Sounds of Darağaç panel, and we will have the participants of this project, Aperion Collective and Lou Records. And the last one, the 12th of April, we will have a mural performance event in the neighborhood. And this will be a 4-day event. We will have live streamings all day. So if you don't have anything important to do, please come and join us. So thank you for watching, and thank you. See you soon.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks for
that was very fun. That was very nice. Hey man.
So see you. Take
See you
care.
soon. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.